Hey guys, so this is my SuperATV loader rack that I bought from Amazon. That's the packaging that it come in. The box was damaged, but all of the interior components were wrapped up with bubble wrap, so nothing was damaged. Everything was safe. Broke it all out of the packaging, spread it out on the floor and on the back of the bike, and just kind of started familiarizing myself with all of the pieces and perhaps how this goes together. Honestly, seems to be pretty straightforward. The all the hardware was like vacuum sealed to some cardboard. Um, Very neat and labeled. The winch and its components was all together to where it was kind of, you could spread it out and see, okay, well, obviously this is what this is for and this is where this goes. Couple of wiring harnesses here. um, the main block bolts are plugs into the winch, so that's gonna have to be in close proximity. I'm assuming that's gonna mount on the rack somewhere, so we'll dig into that. You could, it's self-explanatory where some of this goes. The plug for the remote to plug in, the pulse bar plug that plugs into the pulse bar. So everything was pretty much black and white. Everything also seemed to be good quality. Very neat, very well put together. The kit that I bought had the two cube lights. They came with all the necessary hardware and wiring harness. I think the most difficult thing was going to be running that dash switch. The package that I got did not have an instruction manual. I did contact the manufacturer. They sent me one, but I'm going to wing it this weekend and get this done without. So one of the first things that I noticed that we would have to do is get access to this headliner, and I pulled both the little pins out. I mean the little push clasps or whatever they're called in, and then it's a matter of undoing that other side, and we'll take the windshield out and go ahead and get it out of the way. Pretty easy. And like I said, you pull them little keepers out. And that'll expose the bar to plug in everything. I've already got one of them pulled out just so I'd have it out of the way. The other thing that I did was took two of the little torque screws out. These to where I can lift the roof up to feed my wire in. So now I'm just pretty much ready for the bike's ready. I can show you in this model. And there's the battery. So that's where everything will get hooked up. We'll go underneath the carpet there, up this little bar or up that bar, and then get into the roof and get everything hooked up. Alright, so we're going to get some of the shorter bolts. And in looking, all they've done is just direct bolt those brackets. There's no washers or whatever. So we're going to do the same thing, right? I'm going to take this bracket, these bolts, just drop one, I'll get it. Nice. Let's see what happens when we try to take this door off. Interesting.
say, I think I'm gonna get the bigger of the two. Maybe get me some support under the door here. Alright, so we had to improvise. Floor jack on the door. Basically, you take that off, that hinge is not doing nothing but a guide. Take the pressure back off and just see if the door shuts properly. Yep. Nice. Okay. So this side, there's some slotted holes in these brackets. So yeah. Okay. Cool. Shutting. Alright, so we need to do some adjusting on that one. Looks to me like we're tight right here. And we get a little gappy up there. Let's just go see if that other side looks like that. And we're not as tight. We're still gappy at the top, but we're not as tight. We've got a perfect latch. Alright, so we got to do that on this side. Yeah, the door definitely needs to come up. Alright guys, what I actually did was tighten that up with where it was originally supported from the jack. Okay, I've got that all nice and tight. And we had a lot of sag right here. And this door has always been a little bit tighter to close and open, or to close. It was a little struggle to get it to latch. You had to slam it a little bit. And all of these were, the bracket had slid forward where the door had slid back, which was making it not make good flush contact, and then not making good contact with the striker, or the striker plate hitting the I guess the door latch bar. And now you can see that fixed it. And so one point to make with all of y'all with, you know, the cabs with doors, don't overlook that adjustment right there. And because it's pivoting at the top, it swings the whole bottom that way. When you loosen this up and then put your screwdriver in here and kind of pry it over that way, and then, man, that really cleaned up that edge. And as you can see, it works perfectly now. So all right, we got our doors back aligned and latching properly. We've got the mounting brackets all secure, except, you know, mostly for hand tight, except for the ones at the door hinge. We've moved our headliner down to expose our plugs. Got the windshield out of there just to get it out of the way. That way we don't hit it with a wrench, or, you know, if I need to reach in there and do something, I can. And it'll make it easier fishing that wire under that roof into that inside. But, well, let's put this board again. All right, got it on a little cushion. Got our bolts and lock washers and flat washers. A little splice plate. It's gonna go right there. Kind of hold all that together. Yeah. We ready to go. See if we can put this thing together. Now let's get the winch put all on there before we get it hung. Alright, we got our winch, we got our hardware, we got our wiring. That, I'm assuming, is gonna go on those two holes right there. And obviously the winch and the 10mm screws are gonna bolt under this right here. Orientation wise, I want my little flip lever to put it in neutral so I can unspool it by hand to be on this side. And I'm assuming this is where that plug mounts so that you can plug in your remote on the driver's side. Let's see if we can get it put together. Alright, there's a mistake. Obviously some cheap bolts, so I have to work on that at a different time. That sucks. Well, as you can see, I smooth broke that one off. Now, my winching direction is going to be there, pulling out, which means I'll put pressure on those bolts when I'm winching. So we're going to need to drill that out, tap that out, put another one in there eventually. No, I'm not going to do that right now. Let's keep going. Don't make the mistake I did. I don't know, maybe lube them up a little bit before you run the bolts in there. $8mm bolt. Well, I'm glad I done this down here. Alright, so as you can see, I ran that after I mounted that bracket, or that, you know, relay over that electrical block, whatever you call it, ran that wire through the back. That way it'll be easy access to going underneath the roof. Now on this side, obviously this is where you plug in your remote control to run the winch in and out, right? So I fed the wire in from the bottom side, which I've got it upside down. And you can, if you take the little piece off of this, slide this gasket down, this little orange looking gasket down, you can manipulate that through that hole. It just takes a little bit of force and you can do it. So run it that way, and then again I'll neaten this wire up along that rail. Perfect.
Guys, definitely get some help doing this part. It's not that it's heavy, you just need some help hanging it up there. It's better if you start on one side rather than two people trying to fight putting a bolt in. So we started on the side closest to me, got the first bolt in, and then my wife got on the other side, got up in the bike, and put one in the top. Small fingers for the win.
Going in between the roof and the metal structure, we've got it plugged into the pulse bar, and so we're just going to start fishing these wires through there. Right now everything's just loosely attached, plenty of room with the nuts and bolts. I want to get everything done on the wiring, and then we'll tighten everything up. Alright, making headway. We got all the wires pulled except for the lights. We're fixing to do those. But you can see, came out of the back side of the winch hole on the bracket, went underneath the foam and the metal under the roof. Actually plugged that one into the pulse bar. Let me pull it back and show you. Got it plugged in. Kind of got the wires gathered right there. Just let everything be loose and hanging for right now. Got our battery cable pulled. We're gonna go, you know, obviously come down this bracket. Brace went in behind the carpet. Had to pull a couple of the little grommets out, and then fished it down underneath the carpet. And then, so that's ready to hook to the battery. So now we've got the wiring harness for the light. What I'm gonna do is, because you got the switch, you've got the relay, got all this other stuff, it's gonna be on the inside. We're just gonna fish the 2 light plug-ins that same route up through there, come up that brace, go in behind the headliner, and then come out that same area, and then we'll run one to the left and one to the right. I'll put the relays and all of that other stuff in this compartment in here in the batteries. You can see the battery's already got a couple of post connectors. See if I can find a nut that'll fit that. See if we can get it bolted up. And also, if you've got a fish tape, that'll be handy. Run that down. Catch those extra wires for the lights. Pull them through. Alright, so we got our little fish tape. Hook that into the 2 light plugs. And this is what's going to stay in the compartment. And that's what's going to go under the dash. And then we can pull it the rest of the way out. Very handy. Alright, let me summarize some things right here of what we had to do to make this work. So we undid all the little connector pins on both sides of the little transmission hump, but this side, the passenger side, is the only side that will come out far enough so you can fish your wires in here, go under here by pulling that out, pulling it out, and then fish that all the way up under there. Those 2 little plugs underneath the dash, one right there and one right there, and then this whole thing falls forward. Now the switch that they gave me doesn't fit the hole, so we're just going to leave that for now. I tried cutting this with a torch and heating up a utility knife. It didn't work, so just that isn't gonna work, so backed out. I'll fix this up later, but we was able to kind of down towards this way. There's a hole, and it'll go right to that end of the wire. You can plug it in and then just neatly put everything behind that main piece, the hump. Mounted the relay right there. Obviously all the wiring's done. Everything's been pulled. So now we're ready to set some lights on the back, plug them in, test everything, and then if everything's good to go, we'll tighten everything up. Lights are pretty self-explanatory. Obviously you want to put that bolt in first, put the nut on the little U-bracket, hook the light up, put the Allen screw in the side. Alright, get the switch is plugged in, and man, that's bright. Wow, it's bright. And then our winch. Let's see here. We gotta turn the key on. Key on, we'll turn the lights off, so we don't need them, they'll be blinding us. So we got a key on. We got our winch working. Man, talk about a nice way to cool everything off. Yes, sir. Needed that. Alright. Keep doing some zip time. Everything's tight. Fixing to do these, put the ends in them, and then do the zip tie. Done deal. Looks good. So you can see that's plenty. Put them lights on. Oh yeah, perfect. And when you can, put the window back in, the back glass back in, getting it in and out with just like it sits. Also took that opportunity to put some new side view mirrors and fold in and out on them.
Oh, excuse my bird dog. Trying to keep this video clean, darling. Well, that's a wrap, guys. Good luck with yours. Pile them up.